Set and setting are very important. Set is who you are. This is your set. It's what you see, but it's also what's inside. It is what you were born with and what you've experienced since you've been born up until now. It's your emotional load. It's your fears, your doubts, your beliefs, your habits. It's what you eat. It's how you sleep. Are you an insomniac? Are you addicted to heroin, alcohol? Are you very stressed? Did someone you love just die? Do you fear death? Are you paranoid? Are you anxious? Are you someone who is very peaceful in general and meditates quite often? All of this is part of your set. It's not just you, it's also humanity. So your set is the collective as well, unfortunately. Although in some cases, if you're pretty bad yourself, then the collective is a good thing to have. The group energy of the entire of humanity can actually bring you up a bit if you're too down. So all of that is your set. And the setting is, where do you go to do ayahuasca? Do you go in the jungle in Peru? Or do you go in Holland or Portugal? Those are two places in Europe that I know of where you can experience ayahuasca. Do you use music or do you do it in silence? Do you do it during the day or during the night? By yourself or with a group of people? With a shaman or with a guide, a spiritual guide? Do you eat before? Or do you not eat that day or the days before? Do you stop having sex a few days or even weeks before the ayahuasca experience and also after? So the setting is everything that surrounds the ceremony per se. Who participates, what kind of external elements are present, and I would include food, that is, and any activities that you engage in prior and after the ceremony. Are you watching a lot of news before the ceremony? You don't want to do that. You don't want to expose yourself to what's going on in the world a few days before, or at least not the day during the ceremony itself. So all of those elements contribute to the setting. So the set, I don't think you can do a lot about the set, about who you are right before the ceremony or during the ceremony. So you just, that's who you are and you have to accept it. That's you at that given moment in time. But what you can do is play around with the setting and abide by recommendations. The recommendations that have to do with food, with sexual activity, with information that you expose yourself before the ayahuasca ceremony. In my case, I stopped watching TV and the news, I think 8 months before the ceremony. Even though I didn't know at the time that I was going to do it, I just happened to stop exposing myself to the news. And what else? Yeah, I stopped having sex, I think 2 or 3 months before. And also after. It's not a rule, but Everybody should decide for themselves. The only thing you have to be aware of is that the kind of experience you have during ayahuasca is influenced by your set and your setting. The shamans say that 50% is what they bring to the experience, the shaman plus the plant medicine, in this case the ayahuasca, and 50% is you, your set and your setting. So keep that in mind when you do ayahuasca. Every set, every human being is different. So every ayahuasca experience is going to be different. There will be common elements, but don't be too hard on yourself, or don't be disappointed if it gets tough. It's good if it gets tough, because no matter what, ayahuasca will bring everything to the surface, and I strongly believe that it's better to know than to not know, and it's better to deal with things than to run away from things. My first ayahuasca session was in Holland with an organization called Sacred Voyage. They do individual and also group sessions. The price differs a little bit. Just to give you an idea, for a group session, there are around a maximum of 30 participants, and the price for one ceremony is around 265 euros, and another 100 euros for the 3 days that you stay there. So 365 euros for the whole thing, plus your plane ticket. So this is a great advantage for people who live in Europe, because they can do a first session to see how it is with Sacred Voyage, either in Holland or in Portugal. And they have a calendar with events. So the individual session costs a bit more, I'm not sure exactly, and it would be just you and a guide. I'll show you inside, and I'll also tell you about my experience during the ceremony.